Okay everyone, this is the bouncy castle. It's one of the few extreme activities that we've got, and what I mean by that is obviously it's risky in that children can get injured, so we've got to make sure that we're setting it up properly. This is obviously the bouncy castle itself. What we've got here is two inflatable filler tubes. One of them needs to be tied up with the blower, which I'll show you in a second, and the other one simply needs to be tied up to stop all of the air from coming out. In addition to that, we've also got 4 sandbags, and I'll show you how to put the sandbags on. Okay, so first step is that we lay the bouncy castle out. 2 filler tubes. The first thing that we've got to do is make sure the blower plugged into the extension lead is one of the tubes is actually wrapped round the blower. Okay, so you'll know which one's the correct one. It's normally the longest of the two, but to put quite simply, if it doesn't blow up, then you've got the wrong tube. So I'm going to test it with this one. Please don't just wrap the ties round. What you've actually got to do, I call these crocodile claws. You've got to feed this through the crocodile claws like so. So I'm going to put it down. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it out. 2 seconds, just like so. And then I'm going to keep my finger down or my thumb down and pull it really, really tight, because that will make sure that it's solid and that it doesn't come off. If it does come off when the children are on it, you've obviously got to urgently get the children off in order to wrap it back round again. As I said, please don't just wrap it round and tie it, because it won't work. You've got to put it through the crocodile claws. Then what you've got is the other tube, exactly the same thing. Now a lot of these tubes have these ties already attached to them. If they don't, there will be spares. But again, you simply feed it through, like so. Pull it nice and tight, making sure that we're letting as little air out as possible, okay? The third thing that you're going to do is put all of the sandbags on. That's 4 sandbags, 1 in each corner. So what you're going to do with these clips, you attach them, making sure it's secure, like so, and then we're ready to go. Now, a couple of things before I turn the bouncy castle on. A couple of things to remember is that on the actual bags themselves, it will tell you the size of the bouncy castle and how many children are allowed on them, because we've got different sizes. It normally ranges between 3 and 5 children, so that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is they've got to take their shoes off, but ideally their socks, dependent on how slippery the floor is that they're going to land on if they were to jump or fall off the bouncy castle. So I'll let you make that judgment. And the third thing is that whilst they're allowed to play on the bouncy castle, they can't be too rough, so obviously we don't want them to get injured. And the fourth thing is they're not allowed to pull down on the walls nor climb up the walls. Okay, then what you do is you simply just turn the bouncy castle on using the blower and test that it goes up. Now I'm not going to let the bouncy castle go all the way up. However, the key thing is to make sure that you wait around 30 seconds to a minute. If it's not fully inflated, then it will be one of these 2 tubes that are not tied on properly.